Welcome to the Writer's Block. I'm Garfield Ellis. Remember, this is the spot where we talk to writers of every ilk from everywhere. And this week we have with us Colin Channer, novelist and artistic director of Calabash Literary Festival. Colin Channer, how are you doing?
I'm doing great.
By the way, you look good. You look good, Colin.
Thank you.
I see you have a new hairstyle this year.
Yeah, I've had a haircut.
Yeah, a haircut. It's not like a statement, these hairstyles. I like the Rasta looking one before.
Yeah,
How are things going with your writing?
Things are going.
Yes. What does that mean? You know,
it means
short
that,
answer like that for novelists like you.
I think when writing is going well, it means that a lot of what I can conceive of, I can actually get on the page, and that with a lot of revision, it's coming out to the standard that I've set for myself.
All right. Well, so I'm not going to ask you, are you writing in a book now? I know you're one of those writers who are consistently writing, even now. Your head is working and you're constantly writing. Yeah,
a lot of writing is actually sitting down and typing, but a lot of it is thinking about it. But I don't want young writers to get into the idea of doing more thinking and actually typing because we can think it all out and not get it down on the page.
That is true. How easy it is to make a living as a writer?
Well, I don't think it's easy to make a living at anything. I don't think nurses have an easy time making a living, or teachers have an easy time making a living. But I think that people go into these things because they love them.
Okay.
You know, for me, I've been lucky. I've been able to raise children from this. I'm also a professor, but for a long time that's what I did. It's not easy, but I think it's something worth doing.
Okay. Well, you are also the artistic director of Calabash. I know you want to
Right.
talk about that. It's like your baby. Is it that do you have a nice balance between that and your writing? Do they complement each other, or do they relate to each other?
Oh well, you see, Calabash is an example of the love and affection that I have for writing, and that with each individual book, I'm in a relationship with a reader. Right, with a festival over 3 days, I can be in a relationship with thousands of people. And I think that is very important for those of us who love books to do what we can to serve the interest of the book in many ways. For me, I've been lucky to be in a position where I could, with friends, start a literary festival that is a local festival in its community at Treasure Beach, that is a national festival in its island of Jamaica, that's a regional festival in the Caribbean, and an international one as well. And that, you know, this year we're 10 years old, and I'm proud and happy to say that we haven't charged a dime for admission in 10 years.
That is impressive.
You know, so the books get sold, but the festival is free.
Okay, okay. All right, since we're at the festival, tell us, how did Calabash start? Give us a short history.
Well, Calabash started out as a conversation between the poet Kwame Dawes and I. We were on book tour in England, and we kept talking about the kind of festival that we would have. We were, and then about a year after that, I met Justine Hensley in Jamaica. And so out of the conversation that Kwame and I had, and the conversation I had with Justine, came the idea of putting a vision into place, right? To get it out of just talk and make it a reality. And from the very beginning, there were some key ideas behind the festival. One is that it would be a festival to international standards, but it would be earthy, inspirational, daring, and diverse. And that the ordinary person in Jamaica would get a chance to have a close-up and personal experience with books in a way that was inviting and informal.
What kind of success have you had?
Well, I would say that there are many ways to measure success, but you know, Calabash is now firmly a part of the international literary calendar. That's one thing. Other thing too is that people come every year.
Okay.
So you know, we've never had a Calabash where nobody showed up, or a lot of people didn't show up. But also, I think it's just in the way in which people feel proud that there's something like this in the island. Calabash belongs to Jamaica.
Okay.
You know? People have a very personal, passionate relationship with it.
So, are you to be called a Jamaica festival, a Jamaican festival, or is it just an international literary festival? How do you, I mean, I know you don't like definitions. But
no, I would say that Calabash is an international literary festival that takes place in Jamaica.
Okay.
I mean, for example, if you're looking at Calabash 2010, for example, you know, Wole Soyinka is from Nigeria. Nami Moon is from South Korea. Christina Garcia is from Cuba. Jeff Dyer is from England. Yes, we've always been international. But for something to be international doesn't mean it can't be local.
Sure.
And I think the key thing, is that one of the key things to balance in Calabash, and I think in many endeavors in Jamaica, is how can some things still be locally relevant but be of international standard? I don't believe that because Calabash is a free festival, that means the standard should be
exactly.
here.
I think one of the questions that came up was whether or not it was going to be used to showcase as much as possible Caribbean talent.
Right.
And whether or not you were successful in that. Yes. How was that?
Well, I don't think, here's the thing is that I don't think Caribbean talent needs me to showcase it. I mean, the best Caribbean writers get invited to the best festivals all around the world. They're the Edinburgh International Festival, they're Toronto's Harbourfront. It's just that they don't have an opportunity to be in the Caribbean region. So if we're going to program an international literary festival, we would have to be determined not to have Caribbean people in it, for it to not have Caribbean people in it. Because, writers like Robert Antonio, Edwidge Dantica, Juno Diaz, these are Caribbean people. If you're looking at...
I understand. That's a very skillful answer. You know what I mean?
No, but what do you mean?
What I'm saying,
Yeah.
but really though, what I meant,
Right.
I know that you have Caribbean writers everywhere. I think
Right.
that one of the things that people argue about, and yes, you are able to showcase Caribbean writers because you are the biggest literary festival.
What I'm saying, I'm able to...
But the point is that
Yeah,
if I have,
right.
for instance,
Yeah.
a young writers who
Right.
want to showcase their work and things like that, who are not getting they're not the...
Are you talking a young writer? But here's the thing, just like everybody doesn't get to play football for Jamaica at every level.
Yes.
Everybody doesn't get to bat for West Indies at a certain level. Every writer at every level will not be able to read as a program writer in Calabash. Right? Because one of the things is that we have to have these spaces where we showcase the best and most accomplished, right? And it's the best and most accomplished from Jamaica, the best and most accomplished from the Caribbean, best and most accomplished from the rest of the world. But I think that we have the open mics at Calabash, right? Where we have, over the course of 3 days, we have 6 open mics where anybody at any level can come, sign up, and read their work and get some reaction. So there's always a space. Also through the Calabash Writers Workshops, we've developed writers, right, through that system, right? So example, Marlon James now, whose last book, the Book of Night Women, was nominated for a National Book Critics Circle Award in the States. First book, Junkers Devil, was nominated for LA Times Book Award and a Commonwealth Writers Prize. Came through the Calabash Writers Workshop. Aishan Hutchinson, whose first collection of poetry is being published by People Tree out of Leeds in England this year, came out the Calabash Writers Workshop. So the system is there. One more thing.
And I have forgotten my point.
No, the point is, here's what I think the point is, Garfield. Here's what I think the point is. I think the point is that you and I, and many people in Jamaica.
I remember the point. I remember the point.
Yes.
It's a very simple one.
Go ahead.
How does a writer get on Calabash? That is it.
Oh, how does that get on Calabash?
Yes.
All right. By producing good books and making us aware of them. Now, sometimes, the thing is that we're constantly, right, keeping tabs on who's publishing what, right? Sometimes a book might come to us because a writer might say, here's somebody interesting that you should look at, right? So the thing is, the first thing is that to have a book, and a book not more than 2 years old at the time of the festival. Why? We want the festival to be fresh. A book that's old is not a fresh book, right? So it's like all the international literary festivals that by invitation. You get somebody get an email or get something in the post, someone saying, are you interested in reading at this thing? That's pretty much how it works.
So once you get on the festival, you have a rotation period. If I have a book every year, will I be able to come on every year?
No, because one of the things that we put in place was a mechanism to keep the festival fresh, but also to keep it from becoming a clique. Because cliqueism has ruined so many things in Jamaica and the Caribbean. We decided that to put in some mechanism. So we don't re-invite people until 4 years. Right? So this way, we have to go out and look for people. We can't be lazy. And that is part of what has made the festival fresh for people every year.
Self-published writers? Or does that?
Generally, no, because I think most self-published work is not particularly strong. Right? Absolutely.
Okay, Colin.
No, I'm not saying that there's not some other examples.
You have strong writers who can't
Right.
I mean.
What I'm saying to you is that 95% of self-published work is not work that is ready to be published.
Okay.
Right? And I think that I can understand in somewhere like Jamaica, people get frustrated because you just don't have many publishers here. You also don't have, I know the few publishers that are here, a lot of them are working on thin margins and not taking risks with books.
Right.
So it sends a lot of people into self-publishing. The cost of publishing has also gone down with technology, but I still think that that self-publishing is something that I would look at a self-published book if somebody sends it to me.
Okay.
But usually, when I read a self-published book, it is not up to par.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue that. That is a fact. But one of the things, as you say, is that there are the scales. You know,
Right.
sometimes I mean you can have no publishing on demand and this kind of thing.
Right, sure.
And you can have a good book, and you can say to yourself, I don't want anybody to dictate what is my quality, especially poets. You know, they tend to.
No, but Garfield, here's the thing.
So is there a mechanism?
No, here's the thing.
I just want to ask you one little question.
But I want to say one
Is there a
little thing.
mechanism, Colin?
Yes.
By which a self-published writer might get in? Is there a mechanism?
I mean, if you bring the book to my attention or Kwame Dawes' attention, and we look at the book and we go, "Boy, the book is self-published, but it's good." Sure, but I think maybe what self-published writers should do is put together their own self-published festival, and here's why. I can't
get over that.
No, let me say. Here's why. Garfield, I love it.
Okay.
My thing is this, right?
Yes.
Every year, right? Don't forget, Calabash is a free festival, not for profit, right?
Yes.
Every year we have to find millions of dollars to put this on.
Yes.
Right? Good. For everybody's sake,
Yes.
right? Now there's all of this great self-published work running around Jamaica. That work would have an audience. So I think that a self-published author is a publisher, is a business person. Then I think the self-published writers of Jamaica should get together and have even a self-published once-a-year marketplace for all these great books that the world hasn't discovered.
Okay, we're going to take a break, Colin. and then we're going to come back. all right. Colin, I'm losing my cool on the block. Come on, it's okay. We'll be back on the block in a second.